And we're live! Hey everybody, I hope you are doing well on this fine, very hot evening here. Tonight's going to be a fun one again because we got two of the leading dumb components from the Globies tonight. So they teamed up together to do a attack of the flat earth arguments. So I haven't really looked through it yet, so it's going to be interesting to see what they present, but knowing them, it's going to be quite funny and ignorant.
Yeah, both the IQs don't even add up to a tuna sandwich.
Like I said, it's insulting to a tuna sandwich, I think.
absolutely.
But anyway, we got Michael Kahn and PJ Cruikshank in the chat tonight in the Elements. Good to see you guys. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Water still finds its level. Resting bodies, water still finds its level. Jesus still loves us. So yeah, good.
Definitely.
I will.
What PJ said.
I just want to say hi to everybody in chat. We got Alan Nordstrand in, Cowie on chat, Cosmic Guru, Brian Stavely, hey, good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming in. Eduardo Igruso, Faciality, Flat Earth Canada, INFE, Jeff Gashead, Moxie, Moomin Rider, Michael Kahn, I did say, I think. I got the Nightbot in, and Cruikshank. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining, everybody. Yeah, last night's stream, if you guys haven't watched it with Brian, it was epic. Yeah, thank you again for the great stream last night, guys. So yeah, they are definitely going to be embarrassed again, probably, because the things they usually bring up are really moronic. So I think it's going to be quite funny. So the polls with only 25 votes so far. FTFE and Dave are as smart as a tuna sandwich. Yes, for sure, 41%. No, that would be too much, 44%. And just no, because 15%. Where's all the ballers? Why aren't you guys busy backing up your beloved idols?
Can I just add that anybody who subs these guys and follows them, they're as dumb as they are as well.
Yeah.
More gullible. They're very gullible. Flat Earth Canada, good to see you, and Gematria Wombat as well. Thank you for coming. So yeah, like I said, I have not really seen through this video yet, but I'm sure what they're going to present is probably yeah, as the usual things they usually present. 5 worst arguments in Flat Earth debate, analysis with FTFE. Wow. So if you guys are ready, we can start that. Or is there anything you guys want to bring up first, like this guy that's not actually a professor? Yes, guys, if you didn't know, Dave Farina...
Again, please.
Sorry? Yeah.
Wait, again, I've sent you a link.
Let me quickly get it. By the way, guys, Dave Farina, yeah, he's not a professor, and he professed it straight to everybody live.
He admits it as well, doesn't he?
4 minutes 23, I think, something like that.
No, it was going to become the centerpiece of my life, and that I'd become successful and everything, and that I'd go on to explain.
Okay. I made it bigger. Why is it not okay? But yeah, guys, anyway, he literally goes and he says
He's got no academic acumen.
And he has to pay people to write his scripts for him and check it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
He dozens of other topics, including
academic acumen.
Yeah, they'd be proud of it.
Yeah. Okay, I just had to rewind it a bit again. Let's try this again. Please do work now, Dave. Moomin Rider, but didn't FTF make you admit he is a professor? No. I just told him, let's agree to disagree. He's definitely not a professor.
That's why I used it in that video.
Yeah.
Craig were claiming that.
Exactly. No, he's definitely not a professor, guys, and he admits it as well. There's a certain rule, steps, criteria that you have to go through to be a professor. Just because he did some part-time lecturing and stuff did not make him a professor, especially because he's got his MAs afterwards. You understand? I think he got his... I thought he still got it. I don't even know if he got his MAs now.
point, the centerpiece of my
Sorry?
He kept flunking out, didn't he? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 times.
moving away
It was off, yeah, 3 times or something. And what does that
Yeah.
tell you? And then when he does try to bring up something like chemistry, which he apparently did his masters, you get people that's actual chemists that debunk him.
He admits here, he admits in this, quoting Professor Dave, I've got no academic acumen whatsoever, not even in chemistry.
Okay, let's quickly.
life, and that I'd become successful and everything, and that I'd go on to
Identity verification. Hey, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, sorry guys, I just have to download it then. I just
Yeah, it's alright, my YouTube's conked out anyway, I've got to restart the tablet. Pain in the butt.
You should save that one back there anyway.
yeah, the thing is I gotta wait till I have a bigger hard drive.
Aye.
YouTube download. Why aren't you working? I gotta get rid of this thing. It popped up when I tried to download a video. I have wallpaper. And then it created this extension, which is really irritating. It looks beautiful and stuff, but that's about it. YouTube download. YouTube download. Okay. Allow. Okay. I don't want to get link. I just want to download it. Close. Ugh, I hate these downloaders. Where's the normal ones I usually use?
Hey, no.
Anyway, hi, it's still good to see you guys. Guys, we got Eduardo, Ignor's Andrew. Actually, it's Andrew. He's going to be online tomorrow night. Still the same shit. Okay, sorry. No, this isn't going to work. Okay, let's try this.
explain dozens of other topics, including topics I know nothing about.
I don't know why. It's just when I'm live.
But I hire experts in the field to write me the scripts, and then consultants to look at the scripts and look at the finished animations and make sure it's all good, right? I'm not professing to be an expert, honestly, in any academic field, not even chemistry.
So I'll provide my own citation.
Yeah, so we obviously don't need to go through, but yeah, guys, he just literally said he doesn't profess to be an expert in any field, yet his name is Ask Professor Dave. What does that tell you?
Tells me he's a bullshitter.
Yeah. But, hold on.
So anyway, guys, we're going to get onto that, and then we're going to see...
He's full of kaki poo poo.
Kaki poo poo. I just want to make sure it's showing. Yes, okay, it's showing. If you guys want to, let's get the start. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey everyone, so many of you watched my annihilation of flat earther David Weiss, a con man who makes money peddling the dumbest hoax on the entire internet. Following that...
Annihilation. Yeah.
Mm.
It would be fun if you actually come and debate actual flat earthers, you know, that actually do know what they're arguing about.
Yeah, they believe in the dumbest folks, no
I
dramatic
don't,
fiction.
I don't debate anybody, I don't see point, but I dare say that if he'd accept the challenge, I'd have a go at debating him.
Yeah.
Aye.
Remember, I've been saying this for how long? Dave Farina, I'm here. Hello. Whoopsie.
And so am I.
Yeah, you can literally come and you can Alan Ocean says you can buy 10,000 subscribers on eBay for $10. I definitely won't buy subs. I'm an honest person. I will never do that. Yeah. So, like I said, he can literally come and debate if he's so, like I say, confident about himself. Because if he did give the arguments he did to Dirth against me, I don't think it would have been the same ballpark. He would have literally been squirming in his own feces. Yeah. Especially because he went to fight the flat earth before the debate and asked him for some tips on what the arguments must be. Yeah.
Oh, what a person to go to,
He actually said that as well. Fight Flat Earth actually said that as well on one of his after shows or something, where he said Dave contacted him to give him tips and arguments for the debate. So what does that tell you? Okay, let's do this.
Exchange, I visited with friends of the channel Fight the Flat Earth to do an analysis of the debate, and we decided to condense that down to a critique of the 5 dumbest things he said. If you fancy the longer version, that is linked below. Otherwise, enjoy this short trip down memory lane.
Okay, so it's just 5 arguments that they're giving from that debate that he said was useless, and let's see what they're going to critique about it. I don't know what's to critique, but yeah. Oh.
I've just noticed, Flats, you've got 2.71 subscribers. You must have got a good few last night.
Yeah, I got today I got about, I think it was 15. Last night I got about 45, I think, 40.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to see all the new people. Thank you for coming. You guys are all awesome. Professor Dave, oh. How can he say he's Professor Dave explains if he's not even a professor? Okay, let's see. Maybe we can listen to sound now.
I know your talking points. So this works because that's not moving. The things in the sky move.
Number 5, spectroscopy needs to be in a container. Why would you say that though? Is this the argument that Dave's making, or, well, okay, how would this put it? Not Professor Dave or Dave Weiss?
QE covered that last night.
Oh yeah. Because,
Sure.
but as far as
Sure.
I know, spectroscopy is just you're looking at different wavelengths and stuff, but you would be looking through gas. So yeah, obviously it would need to be contained.
If you Google pictures of spectrometers, you'll see that they're obviously a container.
Is that a joke? Have you seen what Moxes wrote? Flats, I love you, but Dave would ruin you. I'll stay away. Lol.
Dave couldn't ruin a wet paper bag, Moxie.
That is a joke.
Oh, sorry guys, I put a new Nightbot in to see how it works. Unfortunately, Audio Oracle, he picked that up as a spam. It's not spam. Thank you. Was timed out by Nightbot. He timed him out.
Has it really?
What
Yeah.
a night? What time somebody? Oh, did the time people out? Did it?
Just because he said hi, hello. He saw it as spam.
Wow. Is that what they do then? Is the night what they just
Yeah, it's like
they
a
advertise things
and moderate.
and
Yeah.
people out.
Please don't, Nightbot. Please don't just take people away. But it's good to see you guys. But anyway, yeah, spectroscopy is literally you looking through gases. Because, I mean, it's light emissive. It's propagation of different wavelengths of light. So, obviously, it needs to be contained because show me a place that there's no gas. And they love to use spectroscopy for things like looking at space to work out the compositions of different so-called planets. And would you not be looking through a as I love to say, atmosphere, to be able to see?
Lack of a better word, yeah.
Yeah, to be able to see that.
That's, Brian says you can adjust the settings on the Nightbot so it doesn't do that.
Okay, yeah, I'll play around it because I just added it before the stream to test it out. Thanks, Brian. Okay, so let's go. Where's the curve? Good to see you. Glad you could make it. Oh, thanks. You added me to the video playlist that debunks Professor Dave. Really appreciate it. Hey, Jonah Edwards, thank you for coming as well. Let's carry on. So this should be interesting what argument he's going to give about this.
So if you take the third one from the left, which I know is flat, and you move it around, it's going to start to change shape, right? If the moon was a flat disk, I don't even know if that's one of your talking points or not, as it passed over you, it would change shape.
Okay, what's the moon shape got to do with the spectroscopy, what he's putting here? But that's one thing they'd love to do. Like I say, guys, these guys are just about strawmans. That's what this guy is about, a strawman. He doesn't understand making a strawman argument is not an actual rebuttal. It's probably in rebuttal to what he's showing here, because which one is the sphere here? Which one? You can't tell. And that's his point probably. Eduardo says spectroscopy can be done on the light from the celestial object. You don't have to have the gases in the container. You're looking from Earth, Eduardo, through the atmo. Gas. There we go. Spectroscopy literally deals with gas. It's propagation of light. So yeah. And he's smug. Exactly, Brian. Very smug. Hey, where's Wally? Thank you for coming. Yeah, what a rubbish poll. Where's Wally? But it's a true poll, hey. So just say no. Just no because that's probably what you're going to vote. The rest of us are laughing at his really idiotic IQ. Okay. Let's go.
It would
I don't think the moon is
distort.
a flat disk at all.
Okay, so it doesn't matter though. That's why what you're saying is stupid, because these objects do not move. Now, the other problem is it's not just about shape, it's about other things like composition. Do you know what spectroscopy is?
Yeah, spectroscopy is you can measure gases, but it has to be in a container. Where's the container?
No. Stop. We're looking at light.
He's correct. Although he did kind of, I would say, formulated wrong to him. But he's correct. You would need containment because you're looking through gases to get the spectrums of light, the different wavelengths. That's how it works.
I just noticed that Sean Atwood's there. Does he do things flat earth, does he? Because he usually just like interviews prison, old gangsters, people from prison and stuff like that. He's been in prison himself, I think. I think he does them kind of interviews, but I didn't know he did anything on flat earth.
Yeah, no.
It's not a flat earth.
He was just a moderator,
No,
I think.
I mean, did he like debate flat earthers or something? Did he?
It was just moderating, that's all.
Oh, okay,
Got
got
through
you.
it, like.
Got you.
He says the effect of the atmosphere is taken into account. So
This all debate to me was a setup.
it was actually.
I think Dave Farina decided to debate one of the dumbest flat earthers on the planet. This is why like Sean Atwood's in it. It's something not above board about it.
I just wish if Dave's so confident he would actually come and debate me like I've been asking for how long. I mean,
Exactly.
if he's got the kahunas, as he would say, then why is he so scared to not even answer me on emails or anything? You know what I mean? It's sad, actually. But it's because he doesn't actually know anything, just like he just proved now, saying spectroscopy has nothing to do with gas. Should we go and get
sent back and do it, you know.
And I know you get more than one type of spectroscopy.
Do you have to use a spectrometer to be doing spectroscopy?
Types of
Because if you look
yeah.
at a spectrometer, it's clear it's a container. Like.
Different types of spectroscopy, because I know you get more than one type of spectroscopy. There we go. Types of spectroscopy: acoustic resonance, types of photolism, X-ray photo, circular dome, IR spectrum. That's the infrared spectroscopy. I think that's what they use for celestial spectroscopy. 22 types. But you get different methods as well. Examples of spectroscopic methods coming under this method are colorimetry, UV spectroscopy, infrared spectroscopy, MR spectroscopy, atomic absorption spectroscopy, emission spectroscopy. Contrary to the above method, has emitted light is measured. So emitted light, does that emitted light propagate through a medium? Once the light impinges on the sample, some of it is absorbed. There we go, that's practically what it's about, absorbing light with different wavelengths. But I mean, check at this.
I've just watched QE's treatment from last night. So he covers it.
Does he cover it well? There we go. Gas spectroscopy. Irradiated field amplitude changes in order of magnitude and allows spectroscopic studies of sample. The most popular process used to perform gas spectroscopy is CARS, an acronym incoherent, okay, whatever. But there we go. You got the different wavelengths going, and it's through the different gases. And I mean, I'm sure all these gases are in our atmo. Derek Nelson, Dave won't debate you without committing to a ridiculous amount of fallacies. He can't. That's true. Dr. Bass Ackwards, hey, good to see you. Thank you for coming. I saw your message. My wife actually sent it to me. I was wondering if you're going to come on. You say you are interested in doing a channel. Hit me up on my email. We can maybe see we're doing that thing that you want to try out. Dr. Bass Ackwards, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming. And we got Uni Rock Ryanated also in. Thank you for coming. He sits to pee. That's a good one. Okay.
Looking at light, and we are understanding about the materials, right? We're understanding the composition of things based on light. So when you start talking about gases, you show me immediately that you don't even know what spectroscopy is. That you do not know the ways in which we figure out things about celestial objects. You literally don't even know the definitions of the words that represent the techniques that we use. So why are you even talking about it?
So my question is, spectroscopy needs to be in a container. Otherwise, you don't know what...
Spectroscopy needs to be in a container. The study of how light interacts with matter needs to be in a container.
Yes, because it falls under the second law of thermodynamics, like you said, the entropy, you know, the whole entropy argument. You see, he actually knows this, and you can see he's trying to, quote unquote, make him look stupid by obfuscating and trying to say, oh, that's a stupid argument. I think he formulated his argument wrong to Dave. That I would 100% agree. He could have formulated different, said, based on the laws of thermodynamics, you would need containment for gas, and because we're looking to the celestial objects through gas, it would need to be contained. I think that would be a better formulation of the argument. Did you want to say something, Michael?
No.
But yeah.
Just only the fact that all they were doing, they were projecting.
Yeah, but that's all they do. Like I said, the tactics are very childish tactics.
What does that mean?
Otherwise, when you're looking at the moon, you don't know what gases you're seeing in between us and the moon.
Gases? The moon is solid. The moon is a
There we go, not even listening to what he just said. You don't even know what gases is between us and the moon. And I saying, oh, the moon, it's a solid.
Solid.
You see, that's what he literally ignored the words coming out of his mouth. Yeah, Triple X, the Mandela effect says more dimensions baller. Yeah, cheers Andrew, see you tomorrow night. Good, it's going to be good. Guys, tomorrow night Andrew's going to be presenting on my channel. Yeah, that's going to be cool to see. Eventually a glober trying to come and present globe evidence.
I see another zebra try to come in, Michael.
There's just too much zebras.
Zebra's a serious soccer count king.
Serious sock, serious.
Yeah. Okay.
Also goes by the name of Geronimo Curious. Many of
I
them.
remember when you were Geronimo.
solid
How do
object.
you
Okay.
know that the moon is solid? Spectroscopy needs to be in a container.
Ah.
Otherwise, you don't know what you're
Spectroscopy.
That phrase is one of the
Dumbest
dumbest
sentence
yeah.
ever uttered by a human person.
Oh, so cute. They even finish his other sentences. Wow. The formula. You see, they're attacking the formulation of his sentence and not the argument. Does that show a sign of intelligence? I don't think so.
Spectroscopy
don't even
needs
know
to
what else
be
to say about it.
in a container.
Can anybody show us spectroscopy not in a container? How's that? Can they? Can they show spectroscopy not in a container? The damn spectrometer is a container itself. It's actually sad.
Is John D into spectroscopy?
He's actually got a PhD in spectroscopy.
Right, well, I'll ask him and find out.
Yeah. And he's the one, remember when we did a What is Light? Dr. John D. He gave me all that information for the What is Light series. So yeah, definitely go watch. He's definitely got a lot of information on spectroscopy if you want to know about it. Definitely well worth it.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, like what this does is just shows you the desperation with which he needs to stick to a script, because he hears words he doesn't understand, and then he goes, where can I filter this into one of my dumb talking points? Oh, maybe I think that sounds a little bit like atmosphere needs a container. So let me take this on.
Oh, so he does know what the argument is actually about, and you can see he's like, in his mind, he has to try and make a deflection of that actual argument to try and push it as another argument to try and make it look stupid. So then it's called dishonesty, because then you didn't really address his argument. You're just trying to make fun of his argument by trying to obfuscate to another point.
Related thing he's trying to say and jump
Yeah.
to this like in a completely nonsensical manner. Like
So he's trying to connect
What do
the
you do
argument
with
of
this,
gas
you know?
needs a container with spectroscopy because he's
Right.
saying that spectroscopy measures gases. So
No, he said spectroscopy measures the emittance of wavelengths through gases. He said, remember, between him and the moon, there's gas in between. Did you not just listen what he said? So therefore, actual lie and a straw man again, because they're making up an argument he never made. Unfortunately, that's all these guys have, guys.
therefore you can't do spectroscopy without a container because gas is involved.
Yeah, but is it? I mean, spectroscopy is measuring light. You can do spectroscopy on we're just measuring light that's emitted. You can do it with a solution. You can do it with.
Yeah.
It's not specific to gases. So it's just gases need to be in a container. So spectroscopy needs to be in a container.
Yeah. Is there no gas in between the spectrometer and the substance you are trying to emit light of? Okay, Brian, just see you just now. Yeah, so this is for FTFE and Dave. Why don't you guys hold hands together and come debate me together then? If he's so scared to do it himself, Dave, then why don't you just hold FTFE's hand to come and debate? I mean, he does need the help, that's for sure. I mean, look at the last debate we had. The guy fumbled on every single argument.
Dave can't risk losing all his subs by being defeated.
The problem is his subs are mainly just gullible globers that don't actually look into it, and that's about it. How do you stay a Dave Arena sub when he's proved wrong every single time he makes a video? It doesn't make sense.
Like, what the hell?
I mean,
are
that
you
sounds
talking
like
about, man?
t-shirt material to me. Spectroscopy needs to be I'd buy that with a Professor Dave face on.
That'd be pretty good. That's a good shirt. Yeah, I like that.
So there is a few phrases that flat earthers love to parrot to try and seem like they know what they're talking about. One of these mantras is that gas needs a container.
Because it does. It's not a mantra, it's fact. It's natural law. Just because he denies natural law doesn't mean it's not true. So I'd like to actually see what his argument is going to be against this.
This particular dumb thing comes from someone cherry-picking a few words on a website about gas laws, which led to a massive lie and misunderstanding about the second law of thermodynamics.
No, first of all, it's not cherry picking anything. It's something you guys have not even been able to debate yet. Because what is the argument we get from these guys? Oh, you don't understand. Gravity.
Why can they not prevent any kind of demonstration to prove gas pressure out the container then?
Because it's impossible. That's why. Because their stance on the whole situation defies natural law. So all they have is playground tactics saying, nah, you don't understand. Gravity does it. And when you ask them, okay, but what is gravity? Then they want to play it's the force. where we all know gravity is not even seen as a force, so F equals ma cannot do anything. And yeah, they literally do ignore every single fact about gas behavior and reality. That just shows you why they can't demonstrate any of their claims. So, FTFE, like again, we've said this for years now. If it's so wrong, and we've been cherry picking, and you guys are right, why is it impossible to demonstrate your claim that you can have gas pressure without containment?
But they hold on to their religious chanting of gas needs a container to try and debunk things like the Earth having an atmosphere when space is supposed to be a vacuum. Of course, we all know that gravity deals with that just fine, no problem, but...
Gravity does nothing.
Have you noticed with all these fools, they're all like, their hands are in weight up time and flipping sixes and stuff. You know?
Gravity is just like sort of like, yeah, I'll deal with it, I'll sort it out, no problem. But you can't define it properly, you can't test it, you can't experiment with it, you can't see it. It's not there, it's not there. And you just like, yeah, that'll sort it out, you know what I mean? Like it's nothing, which
Yeah.
it is.
So why don't they come and actually demonstrate gravity doing it then? Oh wait, they can't. How sad. That's why when they love bringing the fish tank with sulfur hexafluoride in, hence a fish tank is a container. And they pour the sulfur hexafluoride in it, and then they have to close the container afterwards, otherwise it disperses into the available volume. They're making our point, but they don't get it. Like,
when they purchase sulfur hexafluoride, how do they get it, and what does it come in, and what do they use to get it from there to fish tank?
exactly. I mean, if they didn't need it, they would just be able to just walk up to the floor and just
Yeah.
scoop it up with a bucket, carry it with them wherever they want, and keep it in that bucket indefinitely. But it doesn't happen because entropy, literally the second law of thermodynamics.
You say gravity to a flat earther and their eyes kind of glaze over and they start drooling a little. But here, Flat Earth Dave is using the same argument to try and somehow discredit spectroscopy. His logic is that spectroscopy measures gases, and as gases need to be in a container, you can't use spectroscopy in so-called space.
No, that's not his argument, so that's an actual lie, and again, like I said, straw man. His argument was, you look through the atmo, aka gas, and you have what you are trying to measure, emittance of light, different wavelengths, through gases in our atmo. How are you going to be able to deduce what you are actually seeing in space? That's what he's saying. And then he just had to point out, by the way, the gas needs to be contained. That's the argument.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Mike Dorman, good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, that's dumb on quite a few levels. He is simultaneously showing a lack of understanding of space, gravity, light, vision, and what spectroscopy actually is.
Oh, is that so? Can you please show us in a fourth dimensional pseudo-Romanian mathematical concept that we cannot observe, by the way, bending space and time, how F equals ma is anything there, because it's just an effect. As far as you know, F equals ma requires a force to cause acceleration of mass, correct? So if there's no force present, how does it cause an acceleration? So either F equals ma is false, or your gravity is false. Choose one. Can't have it both ways. It's not selective.
That's quite impressive. Electromagnetic radiation, like the visible light spectrum, carries energy in waves, and when these waves hit something, they cause an interaction, some change in the matter that they hit.
Yeah.
The study of these effects of these interactions is called spectroscopy.
Yeah, the emittance of light, because it absorbs. That's practically what you're reading. Different absorption, emissions from the different wavelengths of light. Hey, FE Nation, good to see you. Thank you for coming.
The waves and matter interact, two different things can happen, either absorption or emission. Absorption is when electrons in matter absorb energy from electromagnetic radiation and move from a ground state to an excited state, or vice versa. If matter moves from an excited state to a ground state, it then emits electromagnetic radiation in energetic waves, and we call this emission. Spectroscopy isn't just for measuring the interactions between radiation and gases in deep...
I love how he's reading his notes off. His eyes going down, I was reading his notes the whole time. Brilliant. I thought you're supposed to know that out of your head. Hey, Debatable D, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Glad you could make it.
Space, though, it's used in everyday life. Measuring the light from these interactions allow us to do things in the medical field, like look inside you with MRIs, do cancer research, drug identification, all the way to quality control in the beverage industry and chemical research.
Wow. So him doing 5 minutes of research on the internet, writing a little quick script on that, is now making him an expert on the subject. Just like he's an expert on thermodynamics and doesn't even know what a system is. Brilliant. Yeah, very sad. It's sad indeed that guys like this parade as knowing everything, and in the meantime, we see right through them.
The pretenders.
Yeah, they're just pretenders. That's all they are. Hey Stanley, good to see you. Tuna Hunter in the house of the enlightened. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Glad you guys could make it. Yeah, let's carry on.
Even in home improvement stores to match the color of your couch to your wallpaper.
Yeah, I even use spectroscopy when I mix colors for my car painting. Yeah. Duh. And it's contained, by the way. It's called a spectrometer. It literally takes different wavelength of light photos and emits and tells you the different Pantones that would be required in the paint, so you know which paint you need to mix. Because it has different absorptions of lights. So yeah, I use spectroscopy every single day at work. But do I have a PhD in spectroscopy? No, I don't. But do I use it? Yes, I do. Do I know about it? Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm doing swell, thanks, and yourself. Hey, SI man, good to see you. Thank you for coming. I hope you guys are enjoying this.
Good.
Spectroscopy does not need to be in a container.
Oh, yes, it does. Because it's going through a gas. When I use my spectrometer, I literally have to place it on the surface, and in between the sensors and the panel, there's gas. Gas emissions right through. It picks up the different wavelengths of light through the gas. And those absorptions of those different lights into the material give me what I need. Hey, Abby McFly, good to see you. Thank you for coming. If gravity was the reason that things stayed down on a flat, enclosed, stationary Earth, then I'd be okay with gravity. No problem. Gravity is a sky vacuum with floating Mach 88 water balls. No way. Yeah, if they could actually demonstrate this beloved gravity, but they threw it all away when they decided to just call it a mathematical concept in a fourth dimension that we cannot observe. Yeah, so it can't do anything. It's just mute.
This is what flat earth conmen like David Weiss do. Try to sound smart and hope that you are too dumb to not notice, but...
Projection much, mate? He just literally projected, guys. He just showed you his eyes reading off of a screen, a script he wrote, that he could have got all that information on the internet 5 minutes beforehand. Debatable D, can you elaborate on your use of spectroscopy? Sounds interesting. I'm not familiar with it. I'm a spray painter. So I mix the colors and everything as well, and my spectrometer literally helps me to figure out which color I need to mix. That's a very simple way of putting it.
Unfortunately for him, he was debating Professor Dave.
Not a Professor Dave. I just had to point that out again, guys.
So getting back to your point where you have somebody in Santiago, somebody in
Okay, so that was number 5, guys. What was your thought on that first argument of spectroscopy? Did they actually debunk anything there or bring anything to light?
No, as usual, no. No.
I think everybody in chat, type 1 if Professor Dave and, well, not a Professor Dave and Fight the Flat Earth actually brought actual debunking of Dave Weiss's argument in the debate so far. Number 1 for yes they did. Number 2 for heck no they lied and showed ignorance.
There was definitely ignorance there.
Yeah, if you literally go and throw away the need for emitting light of propagation through gas, and that it needs to be contained, then you're already thrown away your whole validation that you know what the argument's about. -1 Taylor Vision. Good to see you, Taylor. Thank you for coming. Okay, so ready to go to number 4. Magnetic declination moves the stars. That's interesting.
What?
Yeah. I'm not sure what to make of this. Magnetic declination moves the stars. First time I've heard about that. Okay, let's go check.
Johannesburg and somebody in Australia, when they see the Southern Cross, well, they don't see it at the same
Should I put the TV louder, guys? Or is it... Because I think it sounds a bit soft for me.
A little
Yeah.
soft, yeah.
Okay, there we go. Let's try this.
time. They see it 12 hours apart from Santiago.
They don't see it at the same time, so
So
people
wait,
looking
so-
south can't see the night sky at the same time.
David, if you
Mhm.
understand what the flat Earth model is, if somebody's in Santiago,
You don't have a model.
You guys don't either.
No.
So, Dave Reno, show us your globe model. How's that? Just like Flat Earth doesn't have a model, you don't have a model either. You have models explaining different aspects because they don't actually all work together. Flat Earth has the same. You have models explaining different parts of what you see. That's how models work. I like his smug smile there.
Mhm. They have not got a definitive model, like you say, models.
So show us the globe model. Why don't you?
listen,
Yeah.
stop being a dick. Okay?
You stop being a dick.
If-
Wow.
Go, Dave and Dave.
He just says to him, because he's interrupting him, he says, just listen, stop being a dick. Now he's calling him a dick. How's he being a dick if he's just telling you, just listen?
Your entire existence is being a dick.
Oh, and a bigger statement as well. Wow. Yeah, so bigotry is also a sign of intelligence, guys. And ad homing him because he's making an argument.
They must be really intelligent then.
You know, usually when someone does this, it's a sign that they are losing. Derek Nelson, the question is, I don't know what the question really is yet, but it just says magnetic declination changes the positions of the stars. Something like that. Or the stars' movement.
But they don't the stars move at the same time as the moon? If you have like star trails, the moon moves at the same time. So wouldn't that argument have to be that they move the moon as well?
They just move at different...
Well, I'd like to add that what Dave Weiss presents as flat earthers say, in what all flat earthers say. So,
Yeah. We just have to make that... We just have to say, everybody, if he makes a claim about what he presents as his flat earth model or whatever, it's his claim. It's not everybody. Not everybody claims the same things, okay? No, Derek, don't press 1, press 2. Always do opposite of what a glober says to you, mate. He already says, I know you tricks, Moxie. No, thank you. Okay. But anyway, like you see what he's doing. He's not even listening to his argument.
To all of science. So stop telling me
keep
to
going,
stop being
keep
a
going.
dick.
Keep going.
Mhm.
So somebody's in Santiago and it's midnight, they're looking at the Southern Cross. Well, somebody in Australia that's looking south, they're looking at the noon sun. You tell me how they
Noon
can see the
sun?
star-
How
the noon
many?
sun.
How many time zones apart are they? Are they 12 time zones apart?
Well, at noon, close to noon, right?
Okay, no, first of all, not close to noon, but it doesn't matter. How about you go 4 hours apart? Why don't you go 4 time zones apart? They should still be looking in completely different directions. 12 midnight, 4 a.m., night sky, both looking south, both can see the Southern Cross. On your pizza world should be looking in completely different directions.
Straw man.
Yeah, exactly. He's strawmanning again, just like usual. That's how we call him the king of strawmans. I don't understand how he can literally. I mean, I've even explained it. What could be the reason why we see it, which makes demonstrable sense. I mean, based on the belief that we are contained. I mean, a lot of us, we have the belief of the dome. I'm not going to deny that. And the stars, the luminaries, as the Bible and the things say, it's in the firmament. So we can have what they call internal reflections, which is totally possible, and why you can see it in 2 locations at the same time. It's as simple as that. I don't know. You want to say something, Michael?
I was just going to say, we're not actually making claims. We don't even know what stars are.
No.
Arturo, that is a straw man, because he's making a argument that Dave wasn't even talking about to burn. He's rebutting an argument Dave never made. That's a straw man.
It's all straw man, plus he chucked in pizza by it and...
Yeah. The flat earth is not a pizza
Not
pop.
that he claimed we're on a pizza for a start.
In space, flying around. Yeah. Exactly.
Explain that.
Dave, when the only time that can happen is in Johannesburg and Santiago.
I just have to... Johannesburg. Johannesburg. Sorry, it's just how the way they say it. Oh, I can't stand it. Johannesburg. Johannes in Afrikaans, Johannesburg or Johannesburg. Johannesburg. Yeah.
Johannesburg.
Or Johannesburg. Just call it Joburg. Much easier. Joburg. So all flat earthers from now on, please just say Joburg. It's just much easier.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it sounds really odd. Yeah, he will. Dr. Des Ackwards, yeah, I don't know. Dave will never probably see him on the likes of my channel because he's too much of a coward. Just like Mr. Sciman Dan, that doesn't actually do science, runs away from me. Yeah, Stanley Joburg, much easier.
So, and if you add magnetic declination in there, they're both looking in the same direction.
Debatable D. I don't understand how the internal reflections are supposed to work, or how it would explain people seeing the same stars in the case. Easy. You got a real star, it gives a light emission. It's got a reflection on that one side of the dome, the same reflection on the other side of the dome because of your point of view towards it. It's called internal reflection. Just like when you shine a light on the edges of a bowl or something and it lights up the outer edges of the bowl, you get internal reflection. It's as simple as that.
Magnetic declination.
Yeah.
So you think just saying the word magnet is going to be an argument here that's going to work for you?
Look up the magnetic declinations of those areas. You don't know what direction you're facing, right?
That's a new one. The magnetic declination, okay. That's again Dave Weiss's argument. I'm not going to say magnetic declination causes you to look in a certain... I think because he's trying to say now you're looking south because it's opposite of north, so you don't actually know where you're looking. Hey Quinlan, good to see you. Thank you for coming. But that still doesn't make sense though. How is magnetic declination going to cause you to look in a different position?
There's certain areas of Antarctica that the magnetic declination is 170 degrees. So when your compass says north is that way, it's 170 degrees the other way, according to, you know, NOAA or whoever's in charge of that. right? It's
Look, you
all-
can dress it up however you want. We're talking about looking this way and looking that way, and they see the same thing.
Well, yeah, if you take Dave's argument, hey Blue Paul, good to see you, and Della, good to see you. Take Dave's argument based on the because when you look, you're using magnetic north or magnetic south or whatever usually. So it could be that your magnetic south is different to someone else's magnetic south, and therefore you are looking to the different directions. Well, you're seeming to look in two different directions, but you're looking in the same direction. Could see. So his point is actually valid, and I don't know how you would go and actually rebut it to say it's false without just claiming that it's impossible. Yep, the more south you go, the less accurate the compass is. That's why we have different types of compasses. And by the way, compass works flat, guys. Not on a sphere, because the toroidal field on a sphere is totally different than on a flat surface, and it totally makes a compass haywire. These guys just ignore that.
And you're fixating on Santiago and Johannesburg because you think that they're far enough apart that they're not going to both be nighttime. I'm telling you, you can go any distance apart. Just go from Perth to Sydney, right? That's far enough apart that if you're both looking directly south, you're looking in different directions and you can see the same thing.
Directly south. Even on your globe, they're looking directly south. They're looking in different directions, mate. Does he realize that? Yeah.
You cannot explain that. That's
Because how am I gonna? Let's see if I can get something. When I need a ball, I can't find one.
Simple go.
There we go.
Weird. You just find it, but I've just watched you go away to get it.
Okay. I think it's showing. Yeah, okay. That's ball. Hey, look, it's even got Ranty's locally flat bulges. Anyway, on their globe, they don't have a up and down, remember? They only got a north and a south. So it's pointing on the axis now. Now, if someone's standing on the bottom of the ball, which is the bottom, I mean, there's always a relative up and down, even though they ignore it. Looking south here. Now, if someone's this side looking south as well, they're looking south, total different direction. You see, it's pointing to the same place, but they're looking different directions to look at that same south. Now, on a flat plane, it's exactly the same. You're looking in two different directions to look at the same south. His is just based on the magnetic declination. I hope that makes sense for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's why I said it just makes more sense to rather see it as internal reflections on the dome.
Alright, we've got Professor Phil Bell.
Hey, Professor Phil Bell, thank you for coming in. The same guy that also claims to be professor and literally shows it's impossible. Yeah, okay.
why you're trying to throw out jargon to confuse people. When in doubt, say the word magnet.
Yeah. So he thinks magnetic declination can physically change the position of stars based on where you're looking.
Hey, David Rive, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Glad you could make it. Again, another straw man. Not physically change the position of the stars. Change the position you are looking at to think you are looking at that position. So if your compass says south, you are looking south, but it could be a different south. That's what he's saying. Nice straw man there, Mr. Fight.
Because even though those stars are in different places on a flat Earth...
What the hell? Flat Sabbath?
Why
Another professor. What? Sorry, I
Nightbot's a bit cautious.
Yeah. Flat Sabbath, I'm sorry about. I apologize on Nightbot. I'm going to. They apparently, Brian says there is settings I can do to change him to stop that because he sees it as spamming for some odd reason. Just because you said another professor. But
Maybe because it's in capital letters. Like maybe it's like.
Nightbot's saying something about caps.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, stop spamming caps. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, okay. So it's just spam. Sorry, guys. I'm going to look through that settings and see if I can change it because I just put Nightbot on literally now before the stream. It's the first time I'm trying to use it. At the moment, it's causing havoc. He says, "I get it with capitals again." Flat Sabbath.
Magnetic declination makes it for some reason look like the stars would look like if you were on a sphere.
This was probably his most desperate moment in the entire exchange.
Yeah.
Like, he just had absolutely nothing to say.
So I genuinely think he doesn't understand in the slightest what magnetic declination is. Magnetic declination is simply the difference between where your compass will point and what we class as true north, right?
Oh, that's what he was talking about, where your compass will point in based on true north. And true north moves around, does it not?
Yeah.
So your magnetic south would be different. So his argument has just been validated by them.
What Dr. Das Aquads said, Globers believe if they could good enough long-range optics, they could see their own ass. They do believe that. I've heard Rumpus saying that.
Wow. Yeah, that's bad. But according to their globe, they suppose because of refraction, the light curves down. That if they had a long enough focal length, they should be able to see right back to their butthole. Yeah. Around the curve.
I'm gonna have to try that.
These guys aren't bright at all, Brian. He literally just validated Dave's argument after calling it dumb. Wow. These guys are the gifts that keep giving.
That's it. It's the and
because the poles, the magnetic poles are not aligned with the geographic poles.
He didn't even say anything about geographic pole, and that again another statement making his point. How do you know where you're looking is really where you're looking? That's his whole argument, Dave. Man. If Nation Flatwood, this should be over with. Why? Because all the balloon fiasco. People just won't get it. They don't get it. The balloons alone disprove their notions of a globe and satellite and rubbish. It's as simple as that. There's another video I want to show. I want to talk about a stream on balloons where they literally have balloons that take over GPS when their satellites don't work. Does exactly the same thing. Because they get the balloons to stay months and months in the same positions. Odd that, eh? Making satellites obsolete. And yes, guys, it's actually real. They've been doing it for years. This company has been going on, I think, since the 70s, 1970s. So, yeah. Dave Weiss is...
built the defense satellites.
That's true. He was being gaslit and strawmaned and add-on. That's all that they did the whole time, Derek. But that's because they don't have any arguments. This guy doesn't even know what the hell he's arguing against. That's this guy as well. That's why they literally just, their statements validated his argument just after calling it dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
And in fact, the magnetic poles move. Like, this is another funny thing about, like, they want the North Pole, like, they want magnets to point towards the center of the pizza land.
No. No one's ever said that. We all know magnetic north moves. You see, they literally they take like the Gleason's map kind of thing, where north, Polaris, okay, is in the middle. That's the geographical north. That's not magnetic north. Now they're going a false equivalent and saying, oh, it's magnetic north just because you say it's the north. North moves.
What evidence is there that it's pointing to the centre or out?
Exactly.
It could be pointing to somewhere up in the sky.
Mm-hmm. Aye. Professor Bulfa says, garbage. Balloons can't stay in the same position. Oh, okay, don't worry. Then stay tuned for the video, Professor Fulbell. Literally
Got them
balloons.
credentials yet, Phil?
Remember, this is the same guy that claims to be working with the people in India, shooting satellites up. And when I ask him, okay, can I please call up anybody there and ask him if you work there? That's not going to happen because he doesn't work there. No one in India even knows you exist, Prof.
He also claims that there's no Indian flat earthers.
Wow. There's millions upon millions of Indian flat earthers.
He's not brightest of professors.
No. But I don't think he is a professor.
That's why I keep asking him for his credentials. I've still yet to see him.
Yep. He still thinks gas just loses all its kinetic energy and falls to Earth. Yeah.
That's geographic North Pole. That's not the magnetic North Pole. And the magnetic North Pole moves.
No shit,
So
Sherlock.
I'm sorry, like a little magic. They think they at Santa's workshop they have like a big pole or something, and all the magnets are pointing towards that. Well, no, it's moving around.
Yeah.
Yeah, in South Africa where I live, when I look in the sky, I don't bloody well care about magnetic North Pole or South or anyway, because when I look at the stars, I literally look for the Southern Cross or the Three Sisters or whatever, and that's how I get my bearing. I don't need to worry about magnetic North or South at all. Why would I need it?
So
It is desperation. Oh, magnetic declination makes the stars appear in the way they should, but it's still flat for some reason. It's
the dumbest thing I've ever
I
heard.
wish that you'd asked him to explain magnetic declination, because I think that would have been
I
pure
should have
comedy.
said,
Yeah.
I should have said define magnetic declination.
So we all know that flat earthers like to throw out scientific jargon without having a clue what it means. But
It just says from thermodynamics. So he's trying to make fun of him. Let's go back there. I did the spelling.
Him to explain magnetic declination, because I think that would have been
I
pure
should have
comedy.
said, I should have said define magnetic declination.
so we all know that flat earthers like to throw out scientific
Thermodynamics. So he's literally ad homing him now. He's literally going against his character, and instead of giving the argument, he's trying to paint his character as dumb. Well done, Professor Dave. That's not a sign of intelligence. That's a sign of defeat.
jargon without having a clue what it means. But what
Buoyancy and density. Huh. Okay.
Weiss took that to the next level when he tried to bring up magnetic declination.
Independent variable. No one ever says that. It's independent variable. Something you don't know what it is because you don't know how to manipulate it. So Professor Dave and Fight Flat Earth. Remember Fight Flat Earth last time when I asked him, please provide us a scientific hypothesis and experiment for his globe. And he says, oh, we look in the sky. And I said, okay, how did you go and manipulate your independent variable? He says he waited. Waiting doesn't manipulate the independent variable. Time is only a control. That's all time is. And I don't care if a citation says time is always an independent variable. Time is always present because it's control. That's what time is, because it doesn't exist. It's just a concept.
Exactly. Waiting is not manipulating time. That's just going through the duration. That's it.
Exactly. Time doesn't do anything. It's a concept. It doesn't exist. But you see, they got all these jargons in there. Oh, we can travel through time. Einstein said if we can travel faster than light, we should be able to go back in time. And, that nonsense. It's just crown munching. I don't think this guy would know what an ivy is even if it hit him in the face. Yeah, I saw the F-22 missile. That F-22 missile I think is like over $400,000 to shoot. They're wasting a lot of money to shoot down things these last few days. They like shot 4 different spherical cylinders in the sky.
Why did they blow it up? Why not just shoot it down and collect it for evidence?
Exactly. I mean, they
could have easily got a little plane to come and hook that up, and do you know what I mean? They could have took it back, examined it. You know what I mean? Did what they had to do, but no, they destroyed it.
Level F Observer made a video about it, and he were looking at height ceiling for a raptor, and on Wikipedia, 16 minutes earlier, before he started making that video, they changed the height that it can fly to down to like 50, whereas before it could fly up to 60. So it couldn't fly high enough to shoot it down with just one bullet.
Yeah, but I mean, they got Gatling guns on their crafts, like the F-35s and stuff. Now, why are they shooting it down with a missile that costs $500,000? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And especially if you actually want to retrieve whatever it is, if you're blowing it up, there's nothing to retrieve. There's really something fishy going on there.
Of course, anyone can see that on a flat Earth, south is a completely different direction for every single longitude line. So
no shit, Sherlock, if you're using the AE map projector. Like I said, now, put a dome over it, and you have what we call internal reflection. You obviously can't see, because this is the one storm, and they love to say, Australia can see the same time as South Africa and the same time as South America. No, they cannot. When it's daytime there, it's nighttime here. When it's nighttime there, it's daytime here. Heck, even in Australia itself, sometimes it's night, sometimes it's day. On the same continent. You can literally only see at the same time South America and South Africa. But you cannot see in Australia at the same time. It's too far apart. But you do see what we call internal reflection. So if the light is here, it reflected the dome this side. Get it? Thank you very much. Very, very important to know when you are debating a narrative model, you keep to the narrative model's argument. And then you can compare it to reality. Can we demonstrate a light having internal reflections on a dome? Yes, we can.
Yep.
Can we demonstrate gas pressure needing containment with a dome? Yes, we can. Can you do any of this shit you guys claim with your globe? No, you can't. So globe, 0. Flat Earth, 1.
such that it's impossible for people in different places to look south and see the same stars. Even though in the real world that
it's not impossible, I just explained how.
Is what happens, because south means toward the South Pole.
Looking south. Now, I want to ask you, Dave, if you're claiming this and you got the Southern Cross there, would it not be inverted from one place to another? Fletzoidska. Yes. I want to know, Professor Dave, not the professor. Would the South Cross be projected in different orientation from this guy to that guy if seen at the exact same time? That is your homework for tonight, okay? I think he really needs, because I actually want to see that. I wonder if we can look at something like that. Star Southern Cross. From Australia at night time. Okay, let's see at night.
Why are we just getting off of the stupid Strawman cartoon?
Yeah, exactly.
If evidence of these observations. I'm going to say that there's no evidence.
None whatsoever.
This is not what I searched for. I'm just interested to see something quickly. Okay. Where would this be? Australia. Hadar right then. Okay, so there's the Southern Cross going. Let's see if we can see in the same, because it's looking south. Okay, so we can actually use what's the name for this? What's that program? Okay, so let's see from now South Africa. Stellarium, I think that's the thing, Stellarium. Now it's going that way. Also looking south. So it kind of shows with what internal reflection would be where it's inverted. And on your globe. So there, I answered it for him. You can give me a New Zealand observation as well. Awesome. Yeah, I think New Zealand is also probably going to do the same. But back to the actual argument.
This singular fact proves the Earth isn't flat. But con man Weiss desperately needed a way out of this obvious conclusion, so he just decided to say NASA and spew the words magnetic declination as though that was going to save him. Since we didn't get to properly discuss how unbelievably stupid that was for him to say, let's talk about it now. Once again, on the pizza land, two people on any two longitude lines would look south and see completely different stars.
And we just showed in relation.
So we've got a character assassination, David Conman, and we're still back to Pizza Strawman.
Exactly. And again, I also just showed you guys, that's why I actually brought it up, because it would be inverted, like I said, and we just see that they are inverted from different locations, meaning you're looking at it from different vantage points. Just like remember Michael, when you showed the walking across the street where the cars come from right to left?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Seeing the same.
I also showed the exact same thing on Stellarium as well.
Exactly.
They would be looking in totally different directions, as opposed to what they actually see, which is the same stars, since they are actually looking in the same direction. Weiss's reply was
What do you see wrong here? That is the south. Well, remember it's tilted. His south would still be different than that south. They'd be looking, this one would be looking southwest and southeast, correct? So they're not looking exactly the same south.
Exactly.
They're not looking exactly the same south, moron. Is real stupid.
Yeah, that was better to say.
Magnetic declination. So what's that? Magnetic declination is simply the angle of the difference between true north, which is at the geographical North Pole, and magnetic north, which points toward the magnetic North Pole, the point where...
So then it changes his viewpoint to what he's looking in the south, making his point again, Dave. He literally he took Dave Weiss's argument, said it's dumb, and just validated again. Because that is what Dave's argument was. Let's do this again, listen.
The angle of the difference between true north, which is at the geographical North Pole, and magnetic north, which...
So the magnetic north changes, remember? So you would look at a different angle to the south. Moron.
Points toward the magnetic North Pole, the point where Earth's magnetic field points directly downwards. The angle of magnetic declination changes based on your position on Earth, and it also changes over time.
And again, validating David Weiss' argument again. Changes based on your location and time. So if someone's in two different countries and they're looking at the place at a different location, their magnetic declination is different, correct? So a different angle. Oh, wow. Hey, Keith Vern, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Yep, he looks at the sky and thinks it proves a globe. Sad.
Because the magnetic North Pole moves. The Geological Survey of Canada determined in 2005 that the magnetic North Pole was west of Ellesmere Island in northern Canada, and then in 2009 it entered the Canadian Arctic and is now moving toward Russia at 55 to 60 kilometers per year.
Great, so that would change the angle that they would go and observe to the stars. Therefore, they can see in the same position, seeing in different locations, like Dave said. So therefore, your whole argument, once again, has validated his argument that you said was dumb. What does that make you?
That's what magnetic declination means. So, for Weiss to try and use this concept as the reason that two observers looking in completely different directions somehow...
Yeah, exactly, television. Oh, look, a flat map. All maps are two-dimensional flat.
Weird that.
Weird. Yeah, it's weird how they use maps, two-dimensional flat maps, to do everything they need their globe to do.
end up seeing the same stars is absolute nonsense. Earth's magnetic field doesn't magically change what people are seeing in the sky. It's just a con man using big words to try and confuse the person he is talking to, which failed miserably.
So then he just actually called himself a liar now because he says it.
Can I just add though that this is the guy who I've heard say with his own mouth that sky rotates in a different direction to north.
Uh-huh. Oh man. But like I was saying, Dave Arena just actually called himself a liar because he contradicted himself. When he just showed the angle changes. Now he's saying it doesn't change. Oh man. But yeah, if someone says the sky is moving in a different direction, you should call that what we call groendakkies, a mental institute, and get them checked out straight away.
Alan just said when I vacuum the floor, I look up at the ceiling to find the depth.
That's a good one.
Yeah, yes. My mum ordered a new carpet last week. Guy come out and measured the ceiling.
But that fits, correct?
Oh yeah, it fit perfectly.
Did he take into account the curve as well? Otherwise it wouldn't fit.
It just didn't take into consideration half under fire.
Oh man.
One of my favorite sections in the entire exchange because of how transparently defeated he looked. There were a handful of moments like this where it was absolutely obvious that he knows he's lying for cash and is not interested in discussing reality whatsoever.
What about eclipses, guys? What about eclipses?
Okay, Iffy Nation, I filmed Polaris and it didn't move like the rest of the luminaries. Yeah. That's one thing I don't get from the globe. Polaris was never always the North Star. It was Vega or whatever they called it. And it moves, changes every, 7,000 years or something. So it moves.
I didn't know that.
How do they know that? How do they validate that? They can't. It's all just a belief. Everything that their globe is based on is based in a timeline and nonsense that you cannot validate it for yourself. That's usually the underpinnings of a lie. If you cannot take stuff and validate, when someone
Or a cult.
Exactly. Let's take it this way: if a company is committing fraud, let's take for instance someone selling land. Their company sells land to build houses on an exclusive piece of land, and you go and you want to buy a piece of land and say, no, you can't go and view it yourself yet, but this is how it looks in the brochure. You can go and just put a down payment, and then you choose the house you want, we build it, and then after 6 months you can go and view it yourself, kind of thing. So you go and you pay your down payment, everything, and you find out at the end of the day the company was a scam. It wasn't the land. That island doesn't even exist, but you bought land on an island that doesn't exist, but you believed it. This is exactly how NASA works and all space agencies. The globe narrative works. They sell you an unobtainable narrative that you have to have faith in because you want it to be true so bad. So you buying unimaginable land that doesn't exist in your head because of your belief. And that's all it is. It's just a fraud. Okay, so what was number 2 on declination? What is your guys' argument on that? Your take on that argument?
Sorry, carry on, Michael.
This magnetic declaration to me sounds like it's there to fiddle somehow.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it, to be honest.
I'm not big into it, like, but I can't understand why there's a magnetic north and then there's true north. It doesn't make sense.
I would have to
but you see
look into it more to make a big opinion about it.
You see, the magnetic north is just based on what the magnetic compass is pointing to. Where the true north is, they believe that's the geographical north, that's the north point on Earth. Okay, so this is number 3, the 14-mile water bulge. This should be interesting.
Hold on.
That's my third talking point. I hope we get to it.
Let's finish this point. Your mainstream science says that because of the spin of the Earth, because of the centrifugal force, that the water bulges at the equator 14 miles high.
Wow.
What?
This is what...
Yeah. Look how excited these guys are, like, confused. Like, what? So they don't know their own narrative.
Exactly. Because it is ridiculous to think there's a bulge there 14 miles high. I mean, having a bulge the size of a couple of houses is big enough, but 14 miles high, that's ridiculous.
Yep. Ah, no, it's crazy. But it's like he doesn't know his own narrative. I mean, didn't you ever hear Neil deGrasse Tyson say it's pear-shaped? Why did he say it's pear-shaped? Just because what they've just said.
Yeah.
So man, the Discord stream link is in my description box as well if you want to click it, mate. I can also do it this way. I think it's going to work that way. There we go. Okay, yeah. There's the Discord link.
Neil deGrasse Tyson and science tells us
Neil deGrasse
about
Tyson.
the spin of the Earth. The water at the equator...
No, it doesn't, he says. So he's just thrown away his own argument for his globe.
Yes, it does. It bulges 14 miles high. It makes the Earth 29 miles wider at the equator.
No. That's the Earth, not the water. What are you talking about? Are you a moron? Dude, the radius... This is what happened. You're very confused.
So let me ask you a question.
No, stop, because you just said a very specific number, and I know why you said that number. The diameter of the Earth is about 27 miles greater at the equator. That's the whole Earth.
The whole Earth. Did you just hear how he contradicted himself? It's wide at the equator, but that's the whole Earth. The equator is not the whole Earth.
Of course it's not.
The great circle at the equator is different than what it would be by your poles.
You're trying to pretend that it's all water, that there's just this big thing of water that's 14 miles? Is that what you're genuinely trying to say? Are you that...
No, that's not his argument. That's what your globe claims.
Exactly.
That's what his globe claims. He knows it so...
He even thinks it's ludicrous himself. So,
yeah. What does that tell you?
You need to know your own arguments.
I mean, if he thinks it's ridiculous, what does that tell you guys?
Stupid.
Well, that's what Neil deGrasse Tyson said. Your mainstream science says that because of the spin of the Earth, because of the centrifugal force, that the water bulges at the equator 14 miles high.
I couldn't stop laughing when he said that. He thinks there's like you would sail along the ocean and there'd be a physical bulge of water going up.
I think you would notice 21 kilometers of bulge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you would notice that. I mean, yeah. So they're literally throwing away their own model here, guys. And this is supposed to be good for them because they're supposed to claim, yeah, Earth curve, mate. So they're trying to flatten it out now. So these are actual flat earthers, guys. They don't want the wall. Welcome to flat earth.
Yeah. A 14-mile high tidal wave is what
Yeah.
he was saying that science claims.
Yeah, but of
Why
course
would
it
science
doesn't-
claim that?
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Pear-shaped.
I think he calls it chubby or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's chubby on the poles.
It's
It
chubby.
should be. It should be at the back at the bottom end.
I
There we
don't too many pies.
So you spin, when you spin pizza dough, it kind of flattens out. It gets wider in the middle. So Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning. And it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the pole. So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier.
Yeah.
Chubby is a good way. It's like pear-shaped. So, it turns out the pear-shapedness is bigger than the height of Mount Everest above sea level.
How much higher is the tall mountain that you identified in this book, which name I forget?
Huh.
So
So what does that tell you, guys? Higher than the Empire State Building.
This is a classic example that I'm going against the wrong priest, though, isn't it?
Exactly. Just like when he talks about Coriolis effect. They also go against it.
What ballers need to do is go away and get all the facts straight between them, and then come with one argument instead of disagreeing with each other.
Exactly. I agree. It's sad.
It's not there. Like, what is he talking about? Like, but in the end, I understood what he was talking about. He was talking about the equatorial bulge at the equator.
No shit. You only figured that out now. If you only figure that out now, then that shows you he does only have it, like we said, a IQ of a tuna sandwich. So by the way, guys, the votes are still FTV and Dave are as smart as a tuna sandwich. Yes, for sure, it's 36%. No, that would be too much, 49%. No, just not, because 15%. Hey, Boston Ray, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Glad you could make it. And Lumpy, good to see you, mate.
You might want to go mute, PJ.
PJ.
Why?
Sound like you're building a shed, man.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's just because I moved from room to room. She's gone to bed, so I've just moved everything to the table. That's all it was. It's done.
Yeah, we only got a half an hour as well that we can do because the power's going off at 11.
Oh, is it?
So I think after this point we stop and then we can carry on again Sunday, because I think I have some more I want to show, because McToon brought out a video today as well where he's talking about this fluorology or what, something like that. So yeah,
everybody watched QE's treatment. One last night, I think he's doing another tonight. It's McToon and some kid professing to be working in spectroscopy. Quite funny.
Is I mean the best place? Maybe send me just put it in live stream commentary. Should pop up there, and just just tag me.
Isn't it so? It's a 43-mile difference between the equatorial and the polar diameters. It's very, very small,
Something,
right?
Yeah,
Like-
but it matched that number. It matched that number such that I knew that that's what he was talking about. That's the difference in the radius from the center of the Earth to the North Pole versus any point on the equator. But that's the whole Earth.
The equatorial bulge is not the whole Earth. The equatorial bulge is your circumference of your great circle. Yeah. I think you would notice 21 kilometers of bulge.
Yeah, not just the
Like,
water.
does he not understand, like, the oceans, as deep as they are to us, our tiny little bodies, are a tiny fraction of 1% of the radius of the Earth. They're insignificant compared to the radius of the Earth. So the equatorial bulge is the whole Earth. It's not like the Earth is a perfect sphere and then the bulge is the ocean.
That's another straw man and a total obfuscation from the actual argument. You see, they're trying to protect their argument because they know the claim is rubbish. That's all it is. Because they got a rubbish claim, they know it's idiotic, so they can't defend it.
They're only doing this because QE and Nathan have started doing treatments and that.
Uh-huh.
That's the only reason they're doing it.
Yeah, but they're throwing away their own argument. Literally.
Yep.
Their own narrative. They're throwing away their own narrative.
We know that's what they do.
Uh-huh. It's sad.
I mean, look with Black Swan, they took their F curve in under the bus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
It's just his inability to grasp the most basic concepts is astounding.
An impressive ability of flat earthers is to misunderstand literally everything. Flat Earth Dave once heard somebody talk about the equatorial bulge and jumped to the insane conclusion that you should encounter a massive hump of water 14 miles high as you approach the equator.
Neil deGrasse Tyson literally says it's pear-shaped. So that's a hump of water. 21 kilometers high. Yeah.
It's a fair hill.
So that means if you had to go to the equator, you're supposed to be having more curve than what you would at the poles.
So no what?
So your boats that go over the curve, you should see them much quicker at the equator than going over a curve than what you would see higher up north or more down south, because your radius would be, because your radius would be different. And yes, your radius is different to the equatorial bulge compared to the south or north pole. Take a sphere and then elongate the equator outwards and make it oblate, and then tell me it's got the same radius, please.
This is what Flat Earth Dave does to try and brainwash people. Throw out nonsense that might contain a correct number or two and try to make it sound ridiculous by strawmanning the actual facts. It's a kind of gaslighting.
Okay, so Dave is conning them by literally just repeating verbatim their narrative. Wow. Okay. I'm glad you realize that it's an idiotic argument. So rather just concede that it's not part of your globe and it's not reality, and then we can move on. Instead, calling him a gaslighter and stuff. And a con man.
There is an equatorial bulge, kind of. Their circumference around the equator is 42 miles greater than the circumference around the poles. This is indeed due to the centrifugal force of the rotating Earth.
And that's exactly what David Weiss said. Those words. Did he not?
Yep.
And then they said he's wrong. And now he's saying it again. So, literally making his point valid once again by after saying he was wrong and dumb. Just like they did with the stars. It looks to me that all the arguments that they're trying to debunk is them saying, nah, you're dumb, you're stupid, and then validating what he says.
Isn't that what we always see?
Actually, yeah. He's posted the Southern Cross. Let's quickly see how it looks. Oh, there we go. Thanks very much, Kiwi Buzz. Beautiful. Beautiful, mate. I can't wait to get myself a nice camera, and then I can... There we go. There's the Southern Cross. And you looking south. See the way it's pointing now? If I had to look through it from my vantage point, it could be a different could be inclined differently. And that's what we see in reality.
But that doesn't mean that there's a 14-mile hump of water, because this is the entire Earth we are talking about, including the land, and the 42 miles difference is spread out over a quarter of the Earth's surface. We can prove this is the case as well. Things weigh more at the poles than they do at the equator.
He's evoking the Otvos effect, guys. No, that's bullshit, Mr. Craig. You do know that you guys never take any actual variables into content when you do that. Like Wolfie taking a scale, flying on an airplane, just tearing it, going across to wherever, doing it again and getting a different reading. I can do that exact same thing in my mixing room by moving it 5 centimeters away. You know why that is? Because these scales work on what we use called a load cell, and it simply works on the pressure being forced onto that scale, onto that load cell. And temperature changes what would happen. I mean, there's a lot of variables that make a change. Simply the fact is, your Eötvös effect is a parlor trick, mate. It's as simple as that. That's the what effect? Say again, please. Eötvös effect. It's due to the so-called bulge because they're further away because of the spin of the Earth, apparently. But like I said, they ignore every single thing about it. And also take into account, you are at different elevations. So when you're at different altitudes, is the air thinner and denser? Yeah. So let's say you go up on a mountain. The air is thinner than when you're at the bottom of the mountain. Would you get a different reading just because of that? Yes, you would. It's not gravity. And you're supposed to be very intelligent.
At the equator, not only are you further away from the centre of Earth's mass than you are at the poles, but the centrifugal force also acts in the opposite direction to gravity, reducing the perceived gravitational force acting on you. This is why gold is measured on counterbalance scales rather than coiled spring or digital.
Yeah, they're measured on counterbalance scales because they've done it through that to keep a standard of knowing what a kilogram of gold would be. That's why they do it on the counterbalance scales.
So now Craig's an expert in buying and selling gold.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Let me show you quickly the Eötvös effect because some people
don't it debunk the Eötvös effect?
No, he's trying to prove the Eötvös effect.
I know, but don't the actual effect don't it disprove it, blah blah?
It does actually. We will still do our stream about the Coriolis.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But anyway, guys, you see. No, that's not that. But the Eötvös effect is simply like that. If you're at different places, the Coriolis effect is affecting you differently because of the centripetal forces, and therefore you weigh less or more at the equator and so forth. Yeah.
It's not Coriolis ain't got to do it though, is it?
Well, they use it for Coriolis effect, and then they use it for the gravity as well. But no matter which way they're pulling it, they're literally showing they are just having a belief and ignoring every variable that does actually cause it.
Scales, you could just buy gold at the equator, head north and sell it for an easy profit.
Yeah, which proves then that it doesn't change weight. He just debunked his own argument again. Listen here, guys.
Centre of Earth's mass than you are at the poles, but the centrifugal force also acts in the opposite direction to gravity, reducing the perceived gravitational force acting on you.
Again, gravity is not a force. Just had to point that out. So no F equals ma.
This is why gold is measured on counterbalance scales rather than coiled spring or digital scales. You could just
listen here, guys.
Buy gold at the equator, head north and sell it for an easy profit. Professor Dave did an excellent job of shutting down the nonsense that David Weiss threw out. But Professor Dave is smart. He knows a lot about the science stuff. Not everyone is, and that is why it is dangerous to let flat Earth conmen like David Weiss go unchallenged.
There's no place that you have 17 hours of sun.
Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna have to end here because it's almost time that the power's gonna go off and stuff.
Okay.
Thank you guys for being here. Yeah, number 2, daylight is not from the sun, so that's gonna be quite good. Look at laugh. Yeah, on the daylight and sunlight, we'll definitely touch on that because there is a difference between the two. But yeah, it sounds funny. Because I mean, you need the sun to have daylight.
Alice is laughing.
But yeah, because tomorrow night we're gonna have the I'm gonna have Andrew presenting. He said he needs about 20 minutes, and then probably gonna rebut that. I can rebut it and dismantle it in 2 minutes.
I can rebut it, and I ain't even seen his presentation.
Yeah, I can rebut it in literally 10 seconds, but it's fine. Let him come and show his globe evidence, because I'm really excited to finally have some glober coming on to try and present globe evidence. So,
that'll be good.
Yeah. So that's tomorrow night, and then Sunday I think we'll carry on with this one and maybe show some more stuff compared, because I mean it's only 2 points, so it's not going to go on too long. Thank you all for coming, really do appreciate it. I don't think I missed any super chats. If I did, I really apologize. You guys are all awesome. Thank you for your stream. Thank you for your support. And then yeah, hopefully see you guys again tomorrow night. All the blessings, and may the pressure be with you.